Center for Liberty has noted that Nigerians are extremely concerned that the Ninth Senate has suspiciously managed to keep a dangerous bill alive despite strong opposition from Nigerians against the bill. Speaking at a protest that has a large turnout today, 9th March 2021, the group demanded that the Ninth Senate must not delay any further to kill and bury the social media bill permanently.
9th March 2021. Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, President of the Senate, Chairman, National Assembly, Federal Republic of Nigeria, 3 Armed Zone, Abuja. Dear Sir, 1 year after public hearing, CSOs condemn Senate refusal to shut down the social media bill. The undersigned civil society organizations in Nigeria are extremely concerned that the 9th Senate of Nigeria has managed to keep a dangerous bill alive, despite strong opposition from the Nigerian people against the bill.
Wow.
As the leader of the revered institution, we believe you are duty-bound to ensure that nothing that is against the wishes of the Nigerian people materializes in the hallowed chamber. The Protection from Internet Falsehoods and Manipulation and Other Related Matters Bill 2019, commonly known as the Social Media Bill or Anti-Social Media Bill, sponsored by Senator Mohammed Sani Musa in November 2019, has remained a lingering threat to freedom of speech and digital freedom in Nigeria. On March 9, 2020, in line with the Nigerian Senate's procedural obligation on legislative propositions, a public hearing was held by the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, led by Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, wherein the proposed bill was widely and convincingly rejected by Nigerians from all walks of life. Today, 1 year after, the future of free speech and democracy in Nigeria is still at the mercy of a Senate that appears to be uninterested in publishing the report of the public hearing, wherein the bill was overwhelmingly rejected, nor willing to conduct a third reading on the bill, where it is expected to be shut down permanently. The apparent lack of interest from the Senate in shutting down the social media bill suggests a sinister intent to pass the dangerous bill, which criminalizes freedom of expression when Nigerians are least vigilant. Despite several international instruments that Nigeria is signatory to, and developments on the continent and beyond within the last 1 year that ought to serve as enough reasons to shut down the social media bill, the Red Chamber remains unwilling to do so. Among these developments are the ruling of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Community Court of Justice, that the 2017 internet shutdown by the Togolese government during the protests that engulfed the country at the time is illegal and an affront to the right to freedom of expression, as well as a similar ruling by a panel of judges of the Jakarta State Administrative Court that the intentional internet shutdown in Papua and West Papua by the government during protests in both provinces in 2019 is illegal and also an affront to freedom of expression. These rulings are indicative of the illegality and tyrannical nature of any government's attempt to outright constrict citizens' rights to freely express themselves or use legislations like the Social Media Bill, which, among other things, has been ill-designed to attack such vague things as coordinate inauthentic behavior and promote incredibly repressive moves like an access blocking order whenever citizens express their opinions, a fundamental right that remains guaranteed under the Nigerian Constitution. It has been established that the proposed bill, which was utterly copied from an undemocratic Singapore, cannot be transposed to a democratic and multi-ethnic nation like Nigeria with a population that is more than 40 times that of Singapore. It has been further established that shutting down the internet and constricting citizens' rights to freely express themselves can bring dire consequences upon any society, democratic or not, as was the case during the initial outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in Wuhan, China, when Dr. Li Wenliang's voice was repressed by the Chinese government for attempting to inform the Chinese people and the world about the deadly pandemic on social media. The disastrous impact of the pandemic, which has caused the death of nearly 3 million people across the world, is a stark reminder that the right to freedom of expression is sacrosanct and should not be assailed by the Nigerian government or its institutions. It's also important to note that although the social media bill has yet to be passed into law, Nigeria is already dealing with cases of internet censorship and occasional attacks on freedom of expression, like the recent restriction of access to an online news medium, People's Gazette, by some telecommunication providers in Nigeria. This follows a suspected intentional truncation of internet services in some parts of the country on October 20th, 2020, during the #EndSARS protest, and particularly immediately after the deadly attack on peaceful protesters at Lekki Tollgate, Lagos. Also important to note is the high likelihood that the proposed bill, if passed into law, can be used as a tool to perpetrate political vendetta among rival politicians and political leaders. We believe that Nigeria's democracy is only as strong as its promotion of citizens' rights, especially constitutionally guaranteed ones, like the right to freedom of expression. Social media has proven over and over to be a platform of equitable expression for Nigerians. To pass a bill like the social media bill will not only be a direct attack on equity and free speech, but it will fundamentally alter Nigeria's democracy in ways that may lead to unforeseen troubles for the country.
By the people of Federal Republic of Nigeria at a public hearing convened by the 9th Senate on 9th March 2020. It is rather curious that the Senate Committee on Judiciary and Human Rights, and also on other legislative matters, have not deemed it fit to produce a report from that public hearing where Nigerians gather together to reject this frivolous bill, which is frivolous by its own connotation. We therefore use this opportunity to call on Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, who himself was once a comrade, and once a comrade, ever a comrade.
Once a comrade, forever a comrade.
To reject and to support us in rejecting this bill. We are asking the Senate committee that is handling this bill, that handled the public hearing, to immediately produce a report that satisfies, of course, the result of what happened on March 9, when Nigerians rejected that bill. The National Assembly has no duty keeping that bill, in the hallowed chamber, or trying to oxygenate a bill that is more injurious to our democratic freedom. Nigeria should be a leading light of democracy in Africa. Nigeria should be a nation that is advancing the cause of democracy, human rights, and social rights in the continent of Africa. The National Assembly should be the bastion of hope for democracy in Africa. So we want to urge the National Assembly, instead of prioritizing and looking for means, to continue to entertain this kind of obnoxious law, the National Assembly should pass such laws like the Electoral Amendment Bill that is before the National Assembly, and some other very important, bills that are before the National Assembly. The National Assembly should not entertain obnoxious laws. And let us also say for the record that, look, there are alternatives to, making laws to gagging, the freedom or censoring, free speech. There are democratic alternatives which we at Center for Liberty has produced, and we have produced our Center for Liberty, and we've made this available to the National Assembly and the leadership of the National Assembly. I want them to digest this alternative, that it is not necessary for them to always look for, legislation to counter whatever they see as an emerging threat to the ruling elite. The social media bill has no implication on the insurgency that Nigeria is facing. The social media bill is not in any way, going to help to prevent that. And for those who have lied consistently all these years, today, nobody can say that we have bandits on Twitter or the social media is being used to promote banditry. Nobody can say that the social media is being used to promote insurgency in the Northeast. Nobody can say that the social media is being used, to kidnap people on our street that we've seen as people, criminal elements, making life difficult for Nigeria. So it is not true, as has been said, that the social media is a danger to human existence. It depends on those who, are using it. The social media has its own disadvantages. However, there are mitigations that have been put in place. So we want to urge the National Assembly not to join the bandwagon of nations who believe that the only way, to speak against, to work against dissenting voices, to introduce legislations that will help, to curb, the free speech of ordinary people.
From Abuja, I'm Gbemiga Olamikun, reporting for GTV Africa.
Protest,